Okay, I'm going to take care of some rust spots on the truck. This is one, it's on the passenger side in the corner of the bed. Here's two more spots, one on the driver's side on the corner of the bed and on the driver's side of the corner of the cab. And then this is the wheel well on the driver's side. Okay, so I went to Sherwin-Williams Automotive, which is about less than a mile away from my house, and they custom mixed a spray can of this truck's white paint that matches the factory paint number. You get the paint number off of the inside of the driver's side door and they'll match it. So I got a spray, aerosol spray, and a touch-up bottle. I also, at Sherwin-Williams, bought a aerosol can of clear coat, which is going to be needed to make it look good. And then I also have a primer from O'Reilly Auto and some acetone to clean it up, and then some Bondo and a application knife, and then this is just some rust inhibitor. So after I grind everything down and get it clean, I'm going to put this on it. That's supposed to stop it from coming back, and then various pieces of sandpaper. Okay, the first step is going to be grinding down that rust and getting it as clean as possible. Okay, you can see it's pretty bad. I'm gonna, as best as I can, just kind of knock that out with a hammer and punch. Yeah, there's a little bit more rusted away than I thought. There's some pretty big open holes right there. And there's a couple other spots up front. I'm just gonna grind those down so I can touch them up with paint. Okay, so for what it's worth, I'm going to put some of this rust inhibitor on it. And hopefully that'll prevent it from coming back as fast as it would if I didn't have it on there. Now I'm just going to sand it a little bit. That doesn't look pretty, and what I think I'm going to have to do is tomorrow, because I used it all, I used all the Bondo in all the spots. Tomorrow I'm going to have to sand this down really good and apply a second layer, unless it looks good after I get some sanding it, but I doubt it. This one over here looks better than this one over here. This one's just really rough, and it just got hard real fast. It said 3 to 4 minutes, but it was more like a minute and a half. So maybe I'm putting too much hardener in it. But try again tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day, and I ran out of Bondo, but you can start to see how it's going to look. I mean, I took the orbital sander and hit both of these spots above the wheel well. Here's another spot. This is looking pretty good. This is going to need, obviously, it's all going to need another coat. And this is where I kind of ran out. I didn't have enough to completely fill this, but you can see that that's going to work out just fine. And then the plan is I'm going to paint right up to where this natural body line is. I'm going to mask it off about there, and so I'm going to paint everything, this whole section down here and up to here. And then when I was up here, I noticed that This was kind of rusting out, so I sanded, ground this down a little bit, and then I also noticed underneath here, I might as well hit it, and so I just used this this thing on that's attachment. It's just like a wire disc or wire, you know, little circle, and I hit that, and now I'm going to just grind out the rest of this area, and then when I come through with the paint, I'm just going to also touch up right underneath here and make sure that that's all protected. Used the air compressor and blew off the air. I used a tack cloth and wiped it down so it's ready for the second coat. And I did this, the same thing I did for everything here, I did for all the spots, so it's all ready to go. So I'm going to use the back of this 5-quart motor oil container because it's got a handle. I figure I can hang on to it, and then I can mix it right here and hold it with me. It kind of smells like modeling glue if you ever made models when you were a kid. Kind of smells like that, maybe a little stronger. Okay, and they recommend kneading this a little bit, getting it mixed. And then I saw last night I was looking at a video and I was trying to measure out by inch and quarter inch and things like that. They just said draw a line across it, and so that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully it'll give me more than 60 seconds to apply it. But even then, I'm not going to have much time. Well, that worked great. Just a little bit that, you know, cutting the circle of Bondo in half with a line of hardener worked great. I definitely had 3 or 4 minutes, so it's a little smoother going on there. And I was able to hit down here. Used up pretty much everything I'd mixed. Second coat is on everything. And I used this time to grab a bucket and some degreaser, and I degreased that whole area underneath the door, but I'm not going to paint so that the underneath part, when I do hit, it blends nicely. And I think now I'm going to go ahead and try to mask off some areas and get a jump on that while the Bondo's drying. It needs about a half an hour. I'm going to give it a good 45 minutes. Alright, I think that's going to do it. This is the last skim coat. Okay, I think this is going to be the last coat. And I'm just going to finish it off. Started with 80 and now I'm using 180 sandpaper. Okay, now I'm going to take 800 grit sandpaper and wet sand it. Wet sand every surface that is going to receive primer and paint. Time to put some primer on. Okay, second coat. Okay, so that is actually 3 coats of primer, and I am now waiting 30 minutes. And I'm going to wet sand it, just the primer, with 800 and then 2000 grit wet dry sandpaper, and I'm going to wet sand it. Then I'm going to wipe it down with acetone and begin the color. Here's those 2 spots on the front that turned out pretty good. Those are looking real good actually. Here's the driver's side door with the primer on. Here's the passenger side with the primer. And I am somewhat concerned because that is an awfully dark primer. I don't know how many coats of color I'm going to need. Alright, so it's been 30 minutes and I'm going to go ahead and wet sand this with 800. I think I'm going to step up to 2000 too. 800 and 2000 grit. Wipe that down. Okay, here goes the color coat. Alright, this is what it looks like after the color coat. This is down here. I'd say it looks pretty good. And that rim underneath looks pretty good all the way around. Okay, this is the other side. It looks pretty good with the color coat. Okay, this clear coat came with a hardener that you have to shake 2 minutes. You have to punch this on the bottom to release the hardener, and then shake 2 more minutes and then spray. And there it is. No more rust.